Student Wizard here. I'm here again with my fellow wizards,
Mark and Mike.
and last video we talked about our early experiences with the early versions of D&D, and this week we're going to talk about from second edition on, as far as we can get in this video. But before we get to that, if you like my channel, you like this content, if you want to see us do more of these kind of things, let us know in the comments. And while you're down there, do all the YouTube things: like, comment, subscribe, check for the pinned comment at the top.
Hey, Paul,
Yeah.
what is that you're wearing? That's really cool.
Oh, you like this? This is I got this on Into the AM. That reminds me, I would like to thank Into the AM for being the official sponsor of this video. Into the AM started off with a few graphic shirts with a focus on vibrant colors and wild designs back in 2012, and has grown to offer a diverse range of clothing that has gone beyond simply graphic design. Their mission is to provide a wide selection of high-quality clothing of various styles and preferences. Comfortable, casual, and uniquely designed, these shirts will quickly become your favorites, like they've become mine. Into the AM are committed to maintaining the highest level of quality in everything they create. Take it from your pal, the Doomed Wizard, they're succeeding. Check out their diverse collection of graphic designs, polos, and button-ups for yourself. I seldom go to one of my Saturday night game nights without wearing one of their graphic tees. Regardless of your RPG of choice, you're sure to find something that fits your game. And if you use promo code Doomed Wizard, you'll get an additional 10% off your total purchase. That's like walking into a store and telling them, Doomed Wizard sent me.
Oh, well, I meant the sweater.
Oh, this? This is Old Navy.
Oh, magic.
And speaking of magic, let's talk about D&D.
Your dungeon master has placed you in a dreadfully precarious position.
You're playing the most phenomenal game ever created.
Your skin grows cold from your first glimpse of the enormous beast.
It's a product of your imagination.
Survival depends on a quick, decisive move.
Your choices are limited.
Stand and fight, or run.
Use your lightning bolt.
Victory is yours.
Win the treasure.
TSR Hobbies.
Dungeons and Dragons games.
Products of your imagination.
And like I said before, last video we talked about everything leading up to second edition. I have a lot of experience in second edition, and I know Mark does as well, because he was there for a lot of it.
Yep.
And still plays it. He plays it more than I do now. And Mike has dabbled in it, so I thought we'd maybe talk about our experiences with second edition.
Yeah.
As Sophia would say, picture this: the year is 1992. I started playing second edition in about 92, when it came out in 88, I guess.
Okay.
And they maybe did new covers. I don't know what it was, but a mutual friend of ours found them at the bookstore, calls me up, and he's like, if I buy the books, will you figure out the rules and we can play it? I'm like, at that time, I really wasn't playing a whole lot of role-playing games at that point. We were dabbling a little bit in Villains and Vigilantes at that point, but there was not a lot. We didn't have a weekly game going anymore. And I'm like, sure, he's going to pay for it. I'll learn it. So it was so funny, because he bought the books. He got the Player's Handbook, the Monster Manual, and the DM's Guide. He sat in one room, I sat in another room, and we just hand books through the door, because we were each working on our own games at that point, and we didn't want anybody to know what we were doing. So, and we honestly, God, we played this from 92 till 98, probably, was about, for me, it was about the my run with it. So for a good 6 years, this was all we played. And once you learn the rules, you realize it was still just D&D. They just had changed a few things around.
Yeah.
But yeah, we put so many characters through so many different worlds in second edition that it's it's another one of my go-tos. I talk about how the early game, the Moldvay Cook stuff is like my go-to, but in a lot of ways, second edition is a lot like that.
Yeah. I don't have a whole lot to say about second edition, because I didn't really play it that much. I mean, I did play D&D in college
Mhm.
and in art school, and I'm not sure what edition we were playing.
Mhm.
It probably was second edition.
Did it have tacos?
I don't remember.
Okay, because that's a pretty good indicator.
The mark of second
Yes,
edition.
yes.
Right.
Is the Thaco, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know, but I mean, it's not. That I played it, of course, later with you guys, and I don't. It's not really that different. It's
No.
very, very similar.
Yeah, it just
Um,
has that horrible taco that kids hate.
Yeah, I don't see why that's such a big issue, but
The last time I played second edition was last Sunday.
Mm.
And so I think we stuck with it because everybody had the books.
Yeah.
So we all bought the books.
Mhm.
Now, some of us had some of the additional, and we had all the supplements too. So they had like the Complete Thief's Guide, the Complete Warrior's Guide. My son just found his Complete Ranger's Guide again. So, and then we got the Monstrous Compendium too, which I liked a lot.
Oh, the big three-ring binders?
Three-ring binders.
I couldn't find mine. I was going to bring them today.
Yeah,
I have two of them. I
yeah,
think.
but with Thaco, what we just do is we calculate it. You have your Thaco on your main character sheet, but then with all your weapons, you just write up like a T in parentheses. That's how we do Thaco, and then all you gotta do is minus the armor class from it. So I mean, it was never that big of a deal.
Yeah.
For us, but
I mean, if my dyscalculia brain can figure it out, it's not that difficult, kids.
I mean, and I don't even know. I guess traditionally, are we really playing second edition?
That was something
kind of like
it's
kind of like Monopoly. We have second edition with a lot of house rules and a lot of and of course as we've moved through our 20s to our 30s to our 40s and now our 50s and my group's been playing. I think my brother Matt, his campaign has been the same campaign 35 years, I think. So we're playing like the third or fourth generation characters who've been teleported a couple times to a couple of different worlds as he's bought new modules. And so I think we started in Lankmar because he read Fritz Lieber books.
Yeah.
So we started in Lankmar, and now we took a detour into Dragonlance for a while, and then we've taken a detour into Forgotten Realms.
Yeah, he's actually the reason why I started reading Fritz.
Yeah.
Fritz Lieber,
He loves Fafhrd and Grey Mouser. So I just think we've never moved on. We tried moving on when 3.0 came out. So a lot of us have the 3.0 books, but we didn't like them, and it was just it's like, why are we why spend all this money when we've got what we got? And that way, over the years, because we're all DMs now, we've got a huge collection of second edition books. I mean, we've probably got everyone's got a player's handbook. There's a bunch of DM's guides floating around, Fiend Folios. I mean, everything. We've got everything. And so, Matt keeps them at his house for the most part. So it's just why bother? Why bother?
Right. One of the crazy things the folks out there don't realize about your brother Matt. A little bit of history. Matt, we used to play at Mark's house, and his brother would show up, and his brother would just make fun of us all the time, just make fun of what nerds we were. And slowly but surely, he started paying attention. And then one day, he's like, he wanted to play.
Yep.
We're like, okay. He took to it like water.
Yeah.
And within like weeks, he was running games.
Oh yeah.
And never stopped.
Nope.
I was talking to him one time. We were just casually conversating one day, and he had mentioned how he got an idea for a game because he was coming home from work, and he looked up, and he saw like Jacob's ladders coming down out of the sky, out of the clouds, and he thought, what if there was a castle up there? And that turned into a game, and I'm like, man, this dude has it.
Yeah,
he's got it.
Yeah, and he is now full blown. I mean, D&D nerd. He has read all of the TSR books and Wizards of the Coast books, and he also reads David Gemmell. I think he's read every single David Gemmell book.
Gemmell's great,
and so he just eats it up. He's a Drizzt fan. He's read he's met, I don't know if they've met Salvatore, but he and my other brother have all the signed books by Salvatore. And so, Matt is constantly, that's what he does in his off time. And so he's been our major DM now. We can always count on him to have a game. He's always working on games. And so,
Matt, you need to get your butt on the show.
I know he'd be great to interview for this. So.
It would be fun.
Yeah. So we've just been doing it, but like I said, we really have house rules. So as we've gotten older, you figure I think like most gamers, we get together, we play from about 5 till about 8, so it's only 3 hours a week.
Yeah.
And
That's
so because we're so old now, we just like everyone's got to get up for work, and people have stuff to do on Sundays, and they want to watch football, and
here it's like 7 to 10.
Yeah,
by 10 o'clock, we're trying to figure out when we're going to play next.
Right. Yeah, and by like 5, but at 5, Matt cooks a lot. There's dinner, so we're eating, and then everyone's BSing for a while. And right now, they spend a half an hour catching up on their fantasy football. So we really only play from 6 to 8. We're lucky.
Yeah.
And so we've just had to drop a lot of the complicated rules of second edition. So, and we're much more. It's kind of just because, like I said, because there's so many DMs in the group, we just go around. I think that can happen. Yeah, let's just do that. That you should be able to do that. And well, how about roll this? Yeah, that sounds good. So a lot of stuff we just ad lib.
This is what this is about.
Yeah. It's just you just.
Can I do that? Sure. Okay. Well, roll that. All right.
Like I said, I sat down one time. And read the entire second edition player's handbook, and I wrote notes all over, and I took, and I learned a lot because I had never fully read the book. We wanted to play so fast that we just, and so I'm like, oh, I didn't know that. And so, but I think I said it last time, we tried playing all the rules, and it just was horrible. It bogged down the whole game.
It would have been fun to play this game like in junior high where you had those weekends.
Correct.
You could just go.
Yeah.
Right.
Play it in real time almost.
Yeah. And a lot of what we do now is so we're doing our house version of 2.0, but we also do a hybrid with 3.0. So some of us will play third edition characters that we then modify and make them second edition. Because with the early version of third edition, all you got to do is flip everything backwards and they're second edition. So if it's got, an armor class of 15 in third edition, that's an armor class of 5 in second edition. You just minus it instead of add it. If you start with a base of 10, you just go up like that. And it's not exactly accurate. Someone in the comments will go, that's not true, but that's how we do it. We're just like, just convert it. So, because a lot of us like the sorcerer class and things like that. So,
a lot of the OSR stuff, which we'll talk more about in the next video, a lot of the OSR stuff already has conversions in it.
Yeah.
Like it has for all the different, in case you want to pull in a different module from a different system, they have all that stuff usually equated for you already.
Yeah. I think the number one thing we ignore in second edition is casting time. And so we just don't, and the reason it's probably, we tried it. We've tried it in some games.
Yeah.
And it just makes Wizards, nobody wants to play a Wizard then. And then I think the reason we finally just said no was I think you and I had gotten the advanced D&D comic book, and even in the comic book there was no casting time. There were no components. She simply pointed her finger. Ishkabibble, as well. That's our.
The letterer would draw weird
symbols. And, it's Marvel. It's basically the way they do Marvel. You spin your hand and fireball.
Well,
and so
they always had casting times. If I remember right, at least I think Advanced had casting time.
Yeah,
we never used it because it just dragged everything down.
Yeah, it does. Yeah,
and like it like you said, nobody wanted to play a Wizard once you had to do casting times because it would remind me of like in Big Trouble in Little China when Jack Burton's got the big dead guy on him. And the fight's going on all around him.
Yeah.
And he finally gets the big guy off of him and jumps up and like the battle's over. That's casting time.
Yeah.
I don't even use it now.
Yeah, we don't. I mean, on occasion, now my villains will have to use it. So, for example, if I've got I don't. Well, they won't watch this video. I don't want to spoil my next game, but yeah, you jerks won't watch it. But I think the villains are preparing a spell, and it's a really complex one, and I want that to be part of the plot.
Sure.
So it's only when it serves the plot do I use it.
It's like if it's a timer for
it's basically that's what it is. It's my timer thing, and so but we've got it down. We've had this group who's been playing. I think Matt and I are about the only two Matt and I are the only two who've actually played the entire 40 years, 30 years, whatever it is. And so we've had as big as, I think I said last time, 15 or 20 people, and as little as 4 of us. And so we've gone all different kinds of sizes, played in all different kinds of people's houses, played in a church in Michigan City in the basement for a few years.
When we first got started, when I don't know if even you were roped into it just yet, because you were either just out of college or on your way out of college. But we were playing in a friend's basement. No, you were there because there was the one of my less heroic moments took place in his basement.
Yes.
So you were there.
Yes, we were. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So there was at one time there was 8 of us, and everybody played 2 characters. It was an army.
Yeah.
Like who would do that?
Yeah.
Could you imagine being our age now and going, I want 16 characters on this table. That's a platoon.
Yeah. Well, we play. It's up to you. And when in Matt's, I should say Matt's game, even though there's more than him as DM, but typically people either play 1 or 2. So it's just up to you. And so I will usually volunteer to take on the characters nobody wants to play. So like right now I've got 2 generic fighters just because I just get lazy now. Fighters are easy.
Yeah.
And so but we've got it down to, like, for me to keep focused in my old ADD age. We have I'm the battle map drawer, so I will outline the whole battle. So I'll be that way Matt and I can keep track of. So I help him keep track of who's where and who's doing what in the battle, and that way that's how we figure out who can do missile and things like that. And can you how are you close enough to drop a weapon and switch to missile?
Yeah. Well, honestly, you've always been that way.
I've always been that way. I always have to draw it out. It keeps me interested. And then one of the guys in the group is the historian. So he's got a notebook. And in Matt's games, you have to be a historian. There's so much information to keep track of. So he's got a giant notebook of all of our notes. Recently, as we're aging, our handwriting is getting so bad. Everyone's so used to typing and texting that my friend Don and I, who are the historians, we took notes, and then we didn't have game for a few weeks, and we got back together. Neither one of us could read our notes. I'm like, well, I think we're going after Fling Flargan, the wizard, and Matt's just shaking his head, because we just don't remember the names and everything anymore. So, recently we were playing he was doing he's adapting 5th edition modules now. So he's buying the giant 5th edition book modules and adapting them. But the problem with 5th edition modules, sorry guys, 5th edition kids, is it's kind of like you walk down the street and there's 15 possible things you can do that lead off into 15 different adventures, none of which are necessarily connected. And so we had notes upon notes upon notes, and we're all like, we're not really sure what we're doing anymore. So we ended up buying a bar, and we were focused on trying to sell ale in the Forgotten Realms because we were kind of losing track of who's doing what. So right now he's like, you know what? I think we need to. It's football season. Like my nephew's kind of always got his phone watching the game. A couple other people are watching the game, and so he's like, let's just do a dungeon crawl. So he found the piece of the 5th edition module, which is basically the dungeon crawl.
Right.
But
the 5th edition modules have to be sort of gigantic because they put them in hardback.
Yeah.
And no one's gonna buy a real thin hard. I guess this is their thought process.
Right.
I don't know. No one's gonna buy a real thin hardback. They want a big fat meaty one.
Right.
And nobody can write enough of a story where all this is connected.
Yeah.
There's so much stuff. The game that I illustrated for my buddy Craig from Mystery City Games, everything's connected.
Yeah.
It's a 5e game. I'll put a link down below where you can find it.
Right.
It's a 5e horror based gothic vampire game.
Yeah.
But almost everything is connected.
Yeah.
So my experience with D&D stops with 2nd edition and then takes a huge leap, eventually getting around to playing 5e, which I only played 5e for a little while because I wasn't really enchanted.
I don't know anyone who. So everyone was warned off 4th edition. So nobody that I don't know anyone that played 4th edition.
Did you play 4th edition?
This was during a time when I hadn't played D&D or any role-playing game in a while.
Mm-hmm.
And I was trying to get people interested. So I bought the current Player's Handbook. And I had also bought the Star Wars role-playing game that was out at the time, which was put out by whatever company was pulling D&D at the time. I guess it was Wizards of the Coast.
Probably would have been Wizards, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And that system to me just seemed really overly complicated. Like I would look at the characters like, Obi-Wan Kenobi. And it's like this long, there's all these feats and abilities, and
that's what burdens 3rd edition.
Yeah. It just doesn't seem necessary, especially the feats to me. Like, okay, you have this feat that adds +1 in this situation, and how are you supposed to keep track of all that when you have like 15 of these things?
Yeah.
I don't know. It doesn't seem necessary. It seems like your bonuses should be more
streamlined.
Yeah.
And not complicated. Yeah.
Right.
Because there's skills, there's feats, there's abilities, there's 3rd edition really got complicated.
Yeah. And I had the Star Wars miniatures game, which was kind of based on that system, which was much simplified, and that was fun. I didn't really get to play it too much because there weren't a lot of people. But I played it with the girl I was dating at the time, and she kicked my ass. She, like, her army that she built was all like the big monsters. She had like a Rancor and a Bantha and like all these other things. And I had like Boba Fett, Darth Vader, and I don't know who else, but just whipped my ass.
Well, I guess a big complaint with a lot of like stuff from 3.5 on is the feats, like you were saying.
Yeah.
I didn't play any. Like I said, I started with 5e. I was basically not coerced, but dragged in, kicking and screaming. I thought, all right, I'll give it. And I couldn't get the hang of it because I couldn't wrap my head around the how to do things because I kept comparing it to earlier editions.
Right.
And once I realized that it wasn't like early editions, it got easy to play. But then I'm sitting there going, yeah, but it's not D&D anymore. It's a different game.
Yeah, it is. I think I'm going to go back to 3rd edition.
Sure.
So with 3rd edition, I think the best thing about 3rd edition was the art. And so we ended up buying a lot of the 3rd edition books because they had such intricately cool drawings of armor and weapons. And so, and I did like that they brought back the monk class, which hadn't been around for a while. And so we use a modified form of the monk class and the sorcerer class in our game still. So right now we have a monk and a sorcerer. And so they're just modified 3.5 characters. So that was about it. But we don't play. I mean, the monk with the feats and everything, they kind of streamlined it. They made it more like the original monk. So at each level, you have physical abilities because, and so the monk makes more sense to us because it's like the 1st edition one. But, but 3rd edition it was just D20. It was just everything went up instead of down. And we're like, eventually we're like, why do we want to change how we do things? It just doesn't, it's not cool enough to to justify it. But I'm opposite with 5th edition. So we were very highly resistant to 5th edition.
Mm-hmm.
But for a while, my nephew and his best friend joined the group, and they really, really wanted to play 5th edition. And we said, we'll play 5th edition if you guys DM it.
Mm-hmm.
And so I created a thief, and I really enjoyed playing because it was so different. I like how they've taken the ability scores and they've tied them into all those abilities that go down the side of your character sheet.
Right.
And they've to me, it's like they took all the feats ideas and all the proficiencies, and they made it much easier to handle going all the way down. And I like the fact that now all of the ability scores are important, and I just enjoyed because I'm having fun because it was just something I had never.
Yeah.
It was a brand, like you said, it is a different game.
Well, that's so just it. Cool. I'm not, putting it down or anything.
Yeah.
It's just because I've used aspects of 5e for my own stuff.
Yeah.
But once it clicked in my head that it wasn't the same game, it got easier to play. We just didn't play it for very long.
Well, and we don't now in our group. I think so. We've got the 2 young guys introducing 5th edition to all the old guys, and I think I was. And then the other thing I wanted to do is it was kind of fun having 2 new players, so I kind of wanted to encourage them to keep playing.
Yeah.
But the only thing I don't like about I think now my brothers and our friend hate 5th. They hated it. They hated the entire time they were playing.
Yeah.
And because you don't feel like you're in control. And I think it's because the DM translates everything. So instead of going, I've got a Thaco and me personally, I know I hit. I roll this dice. Did I hit? Oh, yes, you do. And nobody likes that. Nobody, I don't know if it's just not a trust issue, but it's like I'm rolling dice and I've got numbers and I kind of understand that part, but you're telling me whether I beat it or not.
Oh, see, I never did that because I've ran it before. I would just tell people what the armor class was.
No, he would not. And
I want to do as little work
right
behind the DM.
Yeah. No, this DM. The other problem the reason that we got turned off, most of the party got turned off 5th edition is he picked a module where we were villains. And what this kid didn't realize
is how villainous you can become.
How villainous my brother Matt and I can be.
That's
so. I mean, I literally had a thief who was Joe Pesci because I liked talking like Joe Pesci during the game. So, and we just killed people. We killed like a very important character, and he's like, "What are you doing?" And we're like, you made us evil. Why would we save this guy, heal him, and give him money and weapons? Well, screw him. We got the mistake. Yeah, we got the information we wanted, and we killed him.
Yeah.
And so he ended up as the DM. He quit. He just would never. We never finished the game. He never came back. He and my nephew got into a fight. So, but yeah, I think. I just think the weirdness of it turned everybody off. But me personally, I had a good time, and I like the skill stuff. I like how they do the skills. But
one of the problems I have with it is that just how stacked it is against the DM.
Oh yeah,
because I played it for a while, and then my group that I was playing with on Fridays, they wanted me to run something, so I'm like, all right. So I got all the books, and I put a game together. I looked at like the challenge ratings and stuff, and I'm like, this doesn't seem right. So I ratcheted up the challenge ratings, and they still just waltzed right through everything. And I'm like, I don't want to kill all the characters because that's not the kind of, that's not why I'm there. DMs don't kill characters. Dice kill.
Now wait, this is the person who. And the most famous of all of our D&D.
Was I a DM? Oh, wait. Yes, I was.
You were. We, everyone rolled up brand new characters, spent hours rolling them up. We walk out of our tower. There's a scroll waiting for the party. We open the scroll. and it explodes and kills everyone. Game over, and we ended up watching Blind Date whatever that dating show was that had the guy that was killed by O.J. Simpson. He was on that night, so we ended up watching that because you killed all of us.
But don't you remember that?
Oh, yes.
This is what happens when the DM leaves his game at home.
Yeah.
So I just had these guys make new characters for this quest that they would play next week, and I think half the party got wiped out. The other half was left for dead.
Pretty much we were all dead.
Anyway. Okay,
but anyway,
that was a long time ago. That was a long time ago. No, but it's just it's 5e is so incredibly stacked for the characters to win that as a DM, I don't like it.
Well, and that's one thing I think so my nephew who knew 5th edition really well, his character, he knew which character to pick. He knew how to do it. His character could do everything. His character was like Legolas in Return of the King, running up and down elephant tusks and killing people. And so that kind of, while the rest of us, because we didn't know what we were doing,
you had
flat characters.
I rolled a hit.
Yeah,
I rolled a hit.
Yeah,
I rolled a hit. Meanwhile, he's
like doing somersaults and has flames shooting out of his hands.
Yeah, that's the impression I got. I've never played 5th edition, but that your characters are more super heroic.
Yeah, from the jump.
Yeah.
But I mean, I'd try it. I just never.
Don't look at me. I'm not running.
No. For us, no. And so when that DM quit, and then my nephew doesn't want to DM, and so we'll probably never do 5th edition again. But so what Matt's doing is we've got some 5th edition books and modules, and he's just adapting them to 2nd edition. So yeah, I mean, they're nice. I mean, the modules are nice. I mean, it's got everything you need. I mean, they're good. God, they are detailed.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, the experience of walking through a 5th edition dungeon is really cool because they're so detailed. But, Matt just plays it with 2nd edition. So, yeah, we would need a 5th edition player to come back. But I'm sure that, that's fine. I mean, I'm sure, as I said, what used to be my Wednesday night game, those guys still play 1st edition because they saw 2nd edition. They're like, "What the hell? That's not our time. That's not our D&D."
Yeah.
So I get it. So it's every generation, what you're used to. So this is this generation's, and that's fine. They like it. They play it great. It keeps the company going, they keep making cool toys for us old guys still. Right. So if it weren't for 5th edition, I wouldn't have my cool toys here. So I mean, I'm happy I'm happy for them, and I'll just keep playing the old school.
Yeah.
But what about the basic sense? Like a lot of people are more interested in playing the basic, like the BX.
It's kind of made a comeback, right?
Yeah. I mean, what is your experience with that? I played basic set for one adventure, and it was the original basic set that my dad ran. I never really played the BX.
BX is what we started with, basically. Yeah, and like I said in the video before this, we started with BX, and then by the time Christmas rolled around, my friends had advanced to advanced, and I was still playing BX, and it caused a whole thing.
And I had the same thing happen. I played BX with my first games, but by the time I came around to be interested in buying the books and things, it had already moved up to here. Yeah. I know the BX is already over.
Yeah.
So
that was like for. See, I thought that came out after Advanced Dungeons & Dragons.
It was almost simultaneously, but not quite. Yeah. But speaking of BX, something that has spawned from it is the OSR, which we'll cover in our next video.
Yes.
But that having been said, next video we'll talk more about the old school revival, the old school Renaissance, the old school resistance. and which gets its roots from the early days of D&D, like Mike's handy dandy homemade OSR book. He made his own copy of the books. So we'll cover that next video. But until then, like I said in the beginning, if you like these videos, you like this content, go down below, do all the YouTube things so you don't miss any videos.
If you like his T-shirt, go buy one.
Yeah, go check out Into the AM. Link in the comments.
Don't forget to join the Doomed Wizard Society.
Yeah. Also, link in the bottom. Yep. Get yourself.
If you like his T-shirt, go to
Slingerly.com. Where did you get yours?
I bought it at Five Below. So.
Oh, okay. If you like his shirt, go to Five Below.
What shirt are you wearing, Jeep?
That's big and tall man story.
Oh, okay, all right. But that having been said, this is Doomed Wizard,
Mark the Wizard,
Mike the Wizard, I guess. Mike the Magician.
Oh, Mike the Magician. I like that.
Kirk Preston, would you take that?
Yes.
Yeah.
There you go.
I will not be performing. Yeah, right.
This is a family show.
Yes.
As always, thanks for watching.